So we're going to start the call with the three of you. I don't know where everybody else is. Lazy Saturdays. Shame though, because it's our last call of the quarter. Actually in the coaching. Wednesday we have the closing call. So we are finishing the tattvas. What is a tattva?
An element.
Yeah. 5 tattvas, the 5 elements. So the tattva is the Sanskrit term for element. Okay, so we've been going through the elements. The first one that we look at in this journey is space. Yes, the unmanifest. Then we looked at earth. Yes, moving into the physical body, the physical realm.
Fire.
Yes, which is, what does it stand for?
Fire.
In terms of, where am I going? It's our desire,
it's burning.
Desire and our motivation. Yeah. We had a powerful call that week because it was really like seeing where we've come from, where we want to go, and that gap, and letting that gap burn. Then we looked at last week.
Air.
Yeah. And air reflects in our time, our calendar, how we organize ourselves. Air moves in all directions. It has the tendency to allow us to become distracted and scattered. So it needs to be managed, given structure. And so today we come into the final one, which is water. Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it everybody's favorite element? Not because of us are free divers, but I don't know. Everybody's fond of water.
Yeah. Well, I think we see it in when we get really clear on the qualities of water, we start to understand why. It's connected.
It's life. For
exactly.
Water is life.
It's connecting. It's fluidity, flexibility. So it has that sort of playfulness to it. So
yeah.
Hi, Kathleen. Good to see you. Hey. Charlotte's here. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna. I will wait until Charlotte arrives with her toothbrush, I think. I don't know what the screen. So what we're going to do is just do a little bit of a grounding meditation, or maybe a water meditation is better, to bring us into the space of today's call. So just sitting in a comfortable position where your spine is free, so you're not leaning back against the back of your armchair this time. That was our last call. And what we're going to do is just close our eyes. Take a few moments just to breathe. Come into the awareness of breath. And just take a moment to reflect on your relationship with water. So as Tessa just said, isn't it strange that we all seem to love water? Why is that? What is your connection with water? And I want you now to go back in time to your earlier connection with water. As a child, it might have been splashing in the bath, playing with a garden hose, a water hose in the garden, or your first experience of the ocean. Hours and hours in a swimming pool till your skin turned wrinkly. Whatever it was, just take time to reflect back and try to feel the emotions that water evoked for you as a child. And with your hands on your knees, just want you to gently start to move your navel, your belly button in circles. So as you're inhaling in, your belly button comes forwards, and as you exhale out, you draw it back towards your spine. So just starting with very small, subtle circles at the belly button. Inhaling to come forwards and exhaling to go back. Just feel that soft quality of water within you. Just allow the movement to take on its own rhythm, if you like, its own energy. So you may find that those circles begin to get bigger, and more of your spine is engaging in this circling movement. So that you start to feel maybe your chest is moving forwards and expanding as you breathe in, and your upper back is being stretched as you circle back and exhale. And if you take your awareness into your spine, you should feel or visualize a soft, fluid, snake-like movement as the vertebra coordinate this circling, soft, fluid movement through your body. And the movement, you start to become aware, is also giving all of your internal organs a massage. Your digestive organs, the liver, the spleen, below the diaphragm, the stomach sitting in between them, and then all of your intestines. Being stretched and compressed gently. Really start to create big circles now through your spine, moving round and round. This is the movement that water has when it's going down a plug hole. The natural movement of water. is this circling spiral motion. You see it in the waves also. Inhale forwards, exhale back. Let those circles become bigger and bigger. And feel that there's a softness, there's a kindness to this movement. You're not forcing anything. You're really just allowing the flow to sustain itself. Once you start moving, these spirals just find their own way of continuing to move through your body. And this reflects also the gentleness, the compassion that we find in the quality of water. The kindness that we learn to show ourselves on any journey. And hopefully you're beginning to feel a nice stretch through the lower spine, between the shoulder blades, across your chest, front of your shoulders, into your heart. And a release, a healing of any tension, of any pain within the lower back, within the vertebra. And then on your next inhale, I just want you to pause for a moment at the front, heart lifted, breath held in, just noticing how you feel. And then begin to unwind. So that's those circles that you've been making in one direction. You now begin to make in the opposite direction. So again, starting slowly, small circles, starting at your navel point. You should feel your weight shifting across your sitting bones as you move. There's a rocking, circling motion that just starts to build in the pelvis, deep inside of you. And that internal movement begins to manifest outwards into the structure of the pelvis, the spine, the muscles, understanding to contract and release. And creating this bigger, fuller movement as you allow it to come into your body with the breath, inhaling as you come forwards, exhaling as you go back. And looking for maximum softness, maximum fluidity in the movement, Water has no edges. Water has no sharp corners or straight lines. So really let that soft quality of water come into your body, into your breath, into your movement. And acknowledging you yourself are 70% water. This element is the biggest part of you. So when we resist kindness, compassion, gentleness, we're resisting the biggest part of ourselves. So circling, opening your heart as you breathe in and come forwards, and really welcoming in your ability to be kind, your ability to self-care, your self-compassion. Breathing and moving, circling your spine. And notice where this feels particularly good, where your spine is particularly appreciative of bringing this soft movement in. Just keep breathing and moving and soft and loving. It's a very feminine movement, the element of water, this circling. Women's bodies also don't have straight lines, sharp edges. We're soft, we're round. So embrace all of that. Embrace all of you. The other feminine qualities which we also find in water: connection, coming together. And look for deeper softness within you, not just in the muscles and the joints, but within your own energy flow, within your thoughts, within the subtle body. Feel softness, a coming home to that coziness, that connectedness of water. And slowing down, but keeping the circles large. keeping the space open and expansive. Just slow down and really consciously begin to unwind, to let go. Let go of all the forcing, let go of all the rushing, the comparing. Let go of all of the masculine qualities that tend to drive us, and wind down back to your natural state. Feel yourself reverting, coming home. Releasing the hardness, the judgment, the comparing, any sense of needing to be more or different or better. Just coming slowly, slowly back to yourself. And in that process of coming back to yourself, your circles become slowly smaller as you find your center, your balance, the calm place, which is your refuge, your heart. Just circling around and around until you come to rest at that point of stillness, calm, refuge, your heart center. Take your time to arrive there. There is no rush. And when you feel that you've found your still point, within that softness, within that letting go, just allow yourself to sit in the silence. Sit in the softness of water. Sit in the self-love of your energy. And very gently, when you feel ready, you can begin to open your eyes, maybe direct them away from the screen initially. Okay. So Paul is trying to connect. I'm not sure what's going on for her, but hopefully she'll be here in a moment. So I'm just going to recap quickly the qualities of water so that we have that in our consciousness before we go into the exercise, which is going to allow us to integrate that element into our own journey, into our own consciousness and awareness, so that we can actually use water as one of our superpowers when we recognize really what it means to us. So I'm going to come quickly to the screen share. I don't want to spend too long going into going through the slides. You can find them in the hub. But it's just really to bring it into your conscious awareness. So water is all about integrity, flow, and depth. Of course, it always flows downward, so it has that energy. This is why we find it in Kapha. Yeah. Water and earth make up Kapha. Remove this. So its qualities: fluidity, cohesion, protection, and nourishment. As Tessa said, it's life. Yeah. For us personally, when we connect with water, we become adaptable. We connect to our self-healing. We connect to connection, softening, soothing, but it's also persistence. So it's not a hardness, but it's a consistency. Yeah. So this is a quality that will really help us to change our habits. It's not about forcing our way through. It's really the quality of Kaizen, water dripping on a stone, bit by bit by bit, very slowly over time. We create a big change into something that appears very rigid. Yeah, water shapes stone. So this quality is something that you can really harness for yourself on this journey. Depth psychology, which comes from the Jungian school, those of you who are familiar with Jung and his approach to psychology, water represents our unconscious or semi-conscious mental processes and our shadows. And I find this interesting because it also comes up in mythology. Before Jung existed, before Joseph Campbell was doing his hero's journey work, we see it in ancient mythology that the water represents our unconscious. There's the myth of Beowulf, which you will also find a link to a document in the hub about that if you want to read the Beowulf myth. But what was fascinating for me was that I didn't have so much awareness around these theories of water, but I experienced it as true in the water, in freediving. I experienced it as an embodiment that in the water, our subconscious is activated. And this is why freediving, in the way that I teach it, is such a healing tool, because it enables us direct access to the shadows, to the stuff that we don't see, to the stuff that we're in denial about. And it also gives us that softness, that loving space to heal it, rather than forcing through, pushing through. In the water, the healing becomes almost like a playful way of resolution. Okay, so this for me is, I get super excited because it's like, yes, this is what freediving is. This is why people connect to freediving and they get obsessive about it. It's because they've tapped into something which gives them access to parts of themselves that they haven't been able to access or have been fearful of accessing. And not only that, it doesn't just give them a confrontation, it gives them the path for resolution as well. So that's just to bring the water element into our freediving practice and, what I've experienced. So just a couple of quotes here. The Tao Te Ching, water is fluid, soft and yielding, but it will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. As a rule, within the elements, whatever is fluid, soft and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard. That's a really powerful thing to remember when we are doing personal work, because sometimes we feel, and in life, more is more. No, often less is more. Often kindness is more. Often letting go is more. The West is very much like, I have to acquire in order to grow. I have to do more in order to succeed. When we look to the spiritual laws of nature, it's the opposite. And it's a paradox. This is why our brain thinks more is more, because that kind of makes sense. Water is a very paradoxical element. So that softness is what allows us to change super rigid structures in our mind and in our bodies. So the more that we can all connect into that softness, that loving quality of acceptance, letting go, the more easy it is going to be for us to heal and to transform. And the other interesting aspect of water from Marcus Aurelius, I know Capucine loves this one because we discussed it on the last call. The impediment to action advances the action. So what stands in the way becomes the way. Yeah. What I am resisting is where I need to go. That's where I'm going to expand. That's where I'm going to evolve. It's not by resisting the stuff that feels uncomfortable. It's by saying, that's the path. And poof, heart opens. I'm curious. So we shift the resistance. All right. So just to look at this paradox, what is soft is strong. In order to reach our heights, we first have to confront our depths. We cannot grow, we cannot heal unless we're prepared to look to what needs to be healed. We can't. What you resist is what you need to grow. The obstacle is the path. What seems to be going wrong is actually absolutely right. This is a tough one. We often get so attached to a particular outcome or a particular process that when it doesn't go that way, we don't actually see the blessings of what is really happening, what is true. And we remain attached to, but it's not what I wanted. It's not what I asked for. Remember, what you need is not necessarily what you want. Another paradox. Yeah. So what you want could be blinding you to the most amazing solution, the most amazing opening of the path on your journey. If you remain too rigid, which is the opposite of water. So if you can see, whoa, this feels tough, this feels shit, I don't want this. And rather than just pushing ahead in the direction that you've been going, the plan maybe that you've made, just to sit back for a moment and just go, but what is this maybe showing me? What is this maybe presenting as an opportunity that at the moment I'm just seeing as shit that I didn't ask for? Okay. So, and this is a challenge. Yeah. We use, there's, the metaphors. I'm in over my head. I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I'm sinking. Yeah. The water is often used as a metaphor for when we feel that things are too much, it's not what we want, it's too challenging. Okay. We're in a challenge, but we don't see the opportunities within that challenge. When we start to see the opportunities, oh, I'm swimming. So in water, in free diving, our shadow issues come up. And it's an invitation. It's not saying, look, you had a shit lifestyle, you had a shit childhood, you've denied this part of you, ha ha ha. It's just saying, this is part of you that needs to come back in so that you can continue your path. It's really saying, look, this is your moment now for integrating, for greater wholeness. But very often what we do is like, I don't want to look at that. That's painful. That's difficult. I've done with that. I don't want to go there again. And so we remain fragmented. We remain unwhole. And we don't do the healing. So it's an invitation. It's an invitation. And that shifts our perception. I was talking to my accountability partner yesterday, and she's reading a book, a lot about mind stuff and whatever. And she said, you know, there's a guy that she's following, and he says, you know, the two polarized mindsets, people either see the world as a prison or a playground. And it's that's what we see in our shadows. Like when something comes up to be confronted, can we just go, oh, this is interesting. I'm kind of curious. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm curious. How can I play with this? Or do I just go, no, I'm going to stay where I am. I'm going to be rigid. I'm going to keep in my little box, in my little prison, and just, no, I don't want that. So these polarized mindsets, that's where the journey starts. Like you choose the direction you're going to take. You're going to stay in your prison, or are you going to go into the playground? Are you going to get curious, or are you going to stay rigid and stuck and fragmented? So, and it's water that facilitates that movement towards the openness, towards the curiosity. Water unsticks us, but we have to be conscious of its qualities and start to bring it in. So, as we've looked at already, self-compassion, healing, curiosity, flexibility, connection. Yeah. These are all beautiful, beautiful things. There's nothing here that none of us want. Am I right? This is all stuff that we want to cultivate. And this is a Brené Brown moment. The heavy emotions of fear, frustration, hopelessness, stress, and grief are the shadow emotions and the birthplace of creativity, ease, achievement, optimism, integration. Okay, she talks about this in vulnerability. We often fear vulnerability, but it's the birthplace of everything that is wholeness. I think that's in her TED Talk. She has a nice slide on that. Okay, look at it as the birthplace, life, yeah, that water gives life. You look at, these rovers going up to Mars now, they're looking for water. That is the biggest thing that we can imagine right now, is to find water on these planets, because we know that water is the source of life. It's huge. So in terms of your personal imbalance or constitution, if you're a Vata, I think Charlotte and Francis are our main Vatas in here. In water, you can get easily overwhelmed, but you have a natural emotional transparency and ability to change quickly. You have that flexibility, that fluidity, because of your Vata, which enables you to embrace the flow, the movement of water. Pitta, who are our Pittas? Sophia. Yeah, Francis also has Pitta. I can't see who else is here actually. with this screen. Ew. Did Paula make it in? I don't think so. I think Charlotte's also quite pitta as well. So our pittas, you can get frustrated. Yeah, it's not moving fast enough. It's not going where I want to go. That pitta energy. But your drive and your problem-solving abilities can be an asset if you can embrace the fluidity. Let go of what you already know. Yeah. So it's really just to be open to see, getting curious. Yeah. Let go of that resistance that comes up. And for the kaphas, me a little bit at the moment, can get depressed and lose energy. Yes. Can comfort-y. Yes. I think Capucine and Tessa are with me a little bit on this one. But kaphas do have the ability to go with the flow as long as they stay physically active. Okay, the heavy emotions of water can really bog us down, and then we in a downward spiral. So keeping physically active is really important. So we are going to do the healing council today, and there's 6 of us, so that's cool. So I'm going to explain the healing council again, or troika, as it's sometimes called. I think you've all done it at least once. Sophia will have done it less. So this is where we use these qualities of water that we've been talking about for healing. Okay. So what we're going to do here is to really get clear on the challenge that we're facing at the moment. Like, what is the challenge? And it can be body related in terms of the habits. It can be emotional. It can be in our relationships. Okay. You can be experiencing self-sabotage. So what is going on for you? What is your big challenge? And we're going to use the healing council to get clarity and to move through this rigidity of the mind of this is what is happening and this is what I need to do, or I just don't want to see it. Yeah. So look for something that might also have a quality of resistance to it for you at the moment. And we're going to connect with the water quality to just be open and to also see that the resistance is the path. So we're each going to do this. So we're going to do 3 rounds in 2 groups. So the first person, you might want to write these timings down. The first person explains their issue, and they have 2 minutes to do that. You may find 2 minutes is super long. You may have a tendency to over dramatize and go into detail that's not necessary. And suddenly 2 minutes is way too short. So really get in the habit, get used to getting to the pith, the core, like what are the real salient issues here? Explain it to your 2 listeners. Then 2 minutes. Person 2 and 3 have 2 minutes to ask clarifying questions. So you said this. Did you mean it was this, or is it more that? Did I hear you right? Tell me more about this. I'm not sure I understand. Okay. So 2 minutes for clarifying questions. Both of you are actively involved in that. And obviously the first person is just responding. Then another 2 minutes. Person 1 turns off their video. This is the important bit, but you don't turn off your audio. Okay, you need to still listen. The reason we turn off the video is that very often when we have really listened to somebody and we care about them and we want to help them, we subconsciously edit our responses according to the person's body language and subtle facial mimics. Okay, so we take away any kind of subconscious editing that we might do based on the person's response. We can't see their response. So that gives us, person 2 and 3, just a blank screen to just come up with solutions. So let's say one of you says, okay, my big resistance right now is going to bed early. I find myself, I don't watch television because I know that that's bad. I try to do journaling. I'm reading a book, but then as soon as I get into bed and I'm going to switch off my phone, I start scrolling on Facebook and I can't stop. And it feels somehow like I'm afraid of going to sleep. Like that distraction is so strong for me that I can't resist it. And I don't know what to do about it. Okay, so 2 and 3 then would ask clarifying questions about the evening routine, about, you know, is there another way that the person, I don't know, what else are they doing? Do they live on their own? Is there something going on in their life which is particularly emotionally challenging or frightening to them at the moment? Do they have a sense of what is arising? Yeah. And then once those clarifying questions have been asked, then they come to solutions. Okay. So maybe this person needs to do a meditation. Maybe this person needs to put their phone in another room. Maybe this person needs to whatever it might be. Okay. But you're not seeing the person's responses because somebody hearing, put your phone in the other room might just go, ooh, you know, and that facial expression is already enough that the person might then start to edit, or positively might think, oh, I'm really onto something here. But then just be delivering things which are more in the people pleasing and less in the resistance is the way solution, you know? Does that make sense? And then one final minute, the first person gets a chance to reflect back on what they've heard. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? No? All right. So,
Yes, Sarah?
yes.
I'm really sorry to do this, but I really need to go in like a few minutes. So yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock and
Okay.
I've promised a friend to go and help her around 10. So I need to be leaving, and I feel I can't take the time I should be taking for this process.
All right.
So
Meshi. All right. Well, in that case, we say goodbye to you now, Tessa.
yeah, I'm really sad about it, but it'll be for another time.
Yeah, no problem. Shame. But thank you for being here.
Thanks.
All right. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye. Does anyone else need to go? Is anyone else on a bit of a tighter time frame? Because this is going to take us 21 minutes, maybe a little bit more. Is everyone else okay to stay? Paul is here. We have 6. Awesome. So Paula did get in. Okay. So in that case, we have 6. We're good. No questions? All right. So, oops. I'm going to stop that and put us into 2 different rooms. You decide who's person 1, person 2, person 3. It helps if you all have a timer just to keep on top of things. Or maybe person 2 times it for person 1 and you cycle around that way. So person one explains their challenge, where they are feeling resistance. 2 and 3 listen. Then 2 minutes, 2 and 3 ask clarifying questions. 1 responds. Then 2 minutes more, 2 and 3 give their solutions, with person one having their video off. And then person one gets to reflect back for 1 minute. So it's 7 minutes in total. And then you switch. Oh dear, Paul is in and out of the call today. I don't know if this is going to work. Maybe she's on an unstable connection. All right. So let's see how this works. I will put a message, a broadcast into the groups when you have that final minute. So before you're then changing. All right. So off we go. Yeah.
Hi, Sophia and Sarah.
Hello. All right. So, Sophia, do you want to start? Yeah. Okay. So I'll start the timer. You've got 2 minutes.
Okay.
We can't hear you though. You need to unmute yourself, my love.
Thank you.
All right. So,
Okay. So my main problem now is to really take the time to self-massage. It's a big problem that I tend to reduce everything that is not clear for a particular reason or for a particular day structure. So and now it's so much I have to do at one day, and then I have only 2 hours for myself, and then I tend to I just do practical things and things I have on my to-do list, and not the self massage. And especially and the one I take 10 or 20 minutes, and the most time it's just a hand or just a foot, and just 3-4 minutes. And I want to do more, but I am reduced this to save energy. So yeah.
mm-hmm.
How much time do I have?
26 seconds.
Okay. And I tried to set some specific time on Saturdays or Sundays to do 1 hour, but I couldn't make it until now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. All right, so we will ask you clarifying questions. You have any, Francis? 2 minutes.
Okay. I will repeat again, Sophia, but you have said that you are struggling to get your self-massage. That's what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
To take the time to self-massage.
Have to find the time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our time.
Does it have to be 1 hour?
No, I would be happy with 10 minutes to 20 minutes.
Okay. Have you tried Kaizening?
Yes, but it's shortening every time, so it's going backwards. Yeah.
Excuse, what time of the day are you doing the massage? What time?
At the evening, most time.
Yeah.
What activities do you have that are maybe fillers, like things that you're doing just to keep busy, or more practical things that you mentioned?
It's like I'm washing my clothes. It's like cleaning. It's making the dishes and something like this. And under the week, I cannot do and them also, and they are a lot waiting for me to be done. Yeah.
And when you do a massage, like just a hand or just a foot or whatever, do you have any? How do you feel?
It feels good, but I feel like a little bit being in a rush. There are so many things to do. I have, yeah. No.
And do you use music?
No.
No. Okay.
All right, that's your time.
Okay.
So turn your video off, Sophia. We're going to give you some ideas. So if you go front, if you've got any.
Okay. Yes. Maybe she should try with music. Also, or let's say play on YouTube or anything that she has a voice of person that soft voice. Well, for me, helps soft voice of someone talking to me in a meditative way, let's say. And I think,
I had a thought that massage, rather than it being the habit, maybe becomes a reward. So when she's doing her busy, I have to do my washing and I have to do my dishes, put the clothes on, then go to the dishes, and then have like a 10-minute massage as a reward.
Exactly.
Like building into the trigger habit reward, to combine, make it into part of the thing she has to do, make it part of that.
Exactly. And maybe no, like you said, try to do a Kaizen approach, because, for example, I'm not doing every day, because then I get too much stuck into the massage because I like it so much. So I'm trying to do maybe when I am on call, before going on call, I do a really, really nice massage. And I don't know, it depends on the oil that she's using, Sarah. What do you think about the oils? We didn't ask.
No, we didn't ask about the oils. Yeah, I mean, to maybe change things. I was also thinking, rather than massage having to be a full body, to kind of connect into which parts she feels needs a little bit of love. So right now she's doing more physical work. Is it her lower back? Is it her legs? Is it her feet? Is it her hands?
Or the neck? Exactly.
Yeah, and just choose one body part or like a muscle chain or a group to really focus in, and let that be a blessing rather than I've got to do this. There we go. And
okay.
Woo! Okay, Sophia, come back. You have 1 minute now to reflect.
So it's a really good idea to use the music, because I think it puts me in another surrounding in place. So maybe I don't get the thoughts, and that I have to make it quick and just relax, and to do it as a reward. Is good, and because I think it's too much to do like a daily routine, I wouldn't stick to it. So I'm just saying on Friday after work or something like this, to make it special. And you ask about the oil. I use sesame oil, and it's like white roses oil. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, time up. Good.
Thank you.
Good. So bear all of that in mind. We're going to come to a closing at the end. So Francis, you want to go next?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so your 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Again, go to bed early. I have improved a little bit, but because at least now my food at night, I think, is less quantity, lighter. I feel better, but I think I'm trying to find where is the problem exactly. And I think the problem is just going to the bed. Once I am in the bed, I get sleepy easily. but it's the attraction going into the bed. And of course, the problem is the telephone, like you said. I'm scrolling the telephone, see anything, Sarah, it could be anything, but without any action. So I'm just watching. And as a consequence, I has had so many headaches. So I went to the optometrist. So now I'm having problem with my vision, like no big issue. Like I just have to use glasses for reading, and then another glasses for see far away, let's say. And I think it was a consequence of all of this. Second thing, well, I need love. I felt so lonely here. And third thing, I would say focus on the study, but I think it's related with the sleepiness. I think so. If I'm tired during the day because I'm not sleeping well, I'm not going to be, let's say, with the same quantity of energy exactly like you mentioned before. Yeah. And
25 seconds left. So
okay, that's it.
Okay. All right then. So Sophia, you and I have 2 minutes for clarifying questions.
So is it always the phone and that holds you back from going to bed, or is that something else?
I think maybe I always find something to do always before going to the bed. Always. And I don't know, I'm not doing exercise too late, but let's say at least 5 o'clock, if I'm early at home, I do something and then cook. And then I say, okay, now I'm going to have the nice shower or the nice bath before going to the bed. And then I start chatting with my flatmate. But now I think we're a little bit better because I say, look, 8:30, we have to stop talking. That's it. I have to go to the bed. Then when I arrive to my room, I start looking the phone. So, which I think is the big problem.
Okay. The loneliness, is it specific or is it general? Like, is it like a person?
General. Well, I miss too much, of course. Maybe my daughter and maybe this person that Sarah. And I think mainly both, and my dog, of course. Sebastian is his name. Because I realized the last 2 weeks I'm calling my mom so frequently and say, oh, I want to see the dog. I want, like, I don't know, I'm so attached to those video calls to see just, maybe my daughter is not there, she's busy, but at least the dog. Sounds crazy, I know. Like,
okay. How often do you do your laundry?
I think twice a week.
Okay. All right.
Twice a week.
All right. Okay, good. So, Francis, switch your phone off. Your video, I mean.
Okay.
All right, so solutions, Sophia. Well, I'll start. The reason I asked about the laundry was, are you making your bed and are you making it an enticing place to go? So could you do something with the bed laundry, with maybe the scent of your washing powder, with essential oils on the pillow, maybe decorate the bed to make it more enticing, like a really cozy place that it's a treat to go to rather than I have to go to bed, to change that relationship with bedtime.
And maybe combining this with some, I don't know how to call it, with essential oils or something like this. I like the smell or something like this. And they are so little devices where you can put it beneath the bed. So that's a nice way to looking forward to going to bed. Yeah.
I mean, the phone is a tricky one. I suggest you set up the bedtime function on the iPhone so it automatically the screen goes off. Messages won't send you alerts anymore, and that's at least one way of stopping any distractions. The loneliness is understandable, but can you, rather than meditate, can you recognize that you need to give attention to yourself? And so sit in meditation, do some kind of journaling, rather than go to the phone. So you're filling that gap of the void. Okay, so we've got 1 minute now for Francis to feedback. Francis, my love, come back.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much. Yes. I just wanted to show you my bed. I'm trying to do that, Sarah. Look. I mean, I'm always exactly trying to wake up, and I put my camels here. That reminds me, Saudi, of course. Yeah, that somebody gave it to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, maybe I should use some essential oils on the bed, or take care more about the laundry, like to attract me to the bed. And also I bought those sheet that you plug. How do you call, Sarah? Do you plug the sheet and get warmer? The bed is warm.
An electric blanket.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's awesome. Yeah. Exactly. So yes, this is warm, and then I turn off, and then I get asleep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So thank you. So bear in mind, Francis, if anything resonated for you, then what it is. We're going to come into a final sharing. Okay. So last round, it's me. So yeah, what I'm resisting at the moment, I think, is being more conscious with my food, with what I'm eating for my doshas, rather than just being kind of convenient or nice or comforting. I know that I'm in a really challenging time right now. So I'm maybe tending a little bit too much to the being gentle with myself thing, but also recognizing that if I'm not supporting my health through the best nutrition that I can, that I'm actually not serving myself, and I'm making the situation harder because that puts stress on my body. So I've just kind of been carrying on, and I don't eat super unhealthy, but I know that I could be a lot more aligned, and I can feel that I've put on weight, and my joints are starting to get a bit stiff again. And I know that, I could be doing better. I think my resistance is in taking the time for preparation, because I'm so busy that feels like it's going to be too much. And maybe there's also some resistance around clarity and decision making. And as long as I kind of push that away, then I don't have to confront some of the more difficult things that might arise if my body wasn't busy digesting food that it actually doesn't really benefit from. Yeah, I think that's my thing. There we go. 2 minutes.
Okay.
Clarifying questions.
Okay, Sarah, what do you find more difficult? Like, I don't know, preparing the breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
All.
All of them.
Yeah, I'm having yogurt and banana for breakfast, which is super heavy caffeine, which I'm caffeine aggravated at the moment. Lunch depends. I just don't have anything prepared. I'm not conscious. I'm not meal planning. I'm not shopping. It's just.
Okay.
And is it more like the problem to find and buy the good things, or is it more and preparing the things?
Both. I mean, I'm really frustrated with the shitty. I mean, it's not really awful quality of food, but just the supermarkets are a bit uninspiring, and Yeah, so I end up just having the same go-to things that I eat.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, even I'm having quite a lot of bread, which, like, I know bread is the worst thing for me. It's both, yeah.
Is there a possibility with more a more variety of foods and more and good looking and so are there markets or and something you can order good foods, or is it only these supermarkets?
I mean, it's limited. We have grocery stores. They get deliveries once or twice a week, but often it's not fresh. You know, it's come on a truck from Cairo. It's a lot better than it used to be, but it's limited. Actually, we do have an organic farm, which I've stopped ordering from because I found I was wasting a lot because I don't get around to cooking. So it's like, it's both ends of the scale are the problem. Okay, so I will switch off my video now. I think you guys tell me.
Okay, Sophia, any ideas?
It's so difficult because when you don't get the right things and that you want to eat and are good, then it's really difficult.
Well, I think at least if she, I don't know, set up, let's say 3 days per week starting, because honestly, and I'm trying to do that every day, the cooking is really tough, like she said, and because she's busy all the time, but at least 3 days per week. She said, in 3 days per week, I'm gonna eat healthy, maybe not all the meals, but at least, I don't know, 2 of them in 3 weeks. And I don't know, because it depends what you like in the morning. So she could prepare maybe some nice pancakes for 3 days, you know, make the dough for 3 days with, doesn't have to be wheat. It could be quinoa powder. It could be another kind of powder. So it will be less heavy for her stomach, I think so. What else?
And maybe in my kaffa times, it's so difficult to get out of the routines of eating. So maybe get there some creativity and for especially and one day we tried to make something from green foods or green things, and the next time just try to prepare something out of red and just to get creative and break these patterns. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
See, I want to look like that photo on again. Okay, so my feedback. Yeah, I think maybe, just kind of breaking it down into a few days of the week. I start with blah, 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 blah. Because I know, and maybe having a green food day or doing it that way, it could inspire me. It could make things a little bit more interesting. I know I need to eat a broader variety of food, so that might just help me to go off my beaten track of the things that I eat.
Do you have a mixer, Sarah?
You know what? I sold everything because I thought I was leaving like now, and now I can't leave. So I sold all of my kitchen equipment. So that's also a little bit of a challenge at the moment.
Yes.
I'm a little bit without my comfort stuff. So anyway, there we go. Finish. Let me see. All right. So we'll bring everyone back. It's going to take them a minute to come back. Thank you, guys. Ladies, I should say. Have you both, oh, no one's here.
The others, it's taking a long time every time.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Us again. Have you both booked your coaching gyms?
No, I have to book, Sarah. You're right. Yes, for March.
After the call.
Thanks.
You've done yours, haven't you, Sophia?
No, and because I have to work
Your work
on
schedule.
these days. Yeah.
Okay. So you would like a weekend one, a Saturday?
Yes. And Friday I have free, or Sunday. So these are the only 2 free days for me.
So on Friday, there's sessions on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
On the, if you go into the calendar, there's sessions on Friday.
Ah, okay. I didn't saw them, so I just thought
Wednesday, Thursday,
Tuesday,
Friday.
Wednesday.
No,
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Okay.
Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello. Did Paula not show up?
Yeah. Here she is.
There. Okay. Good. So hopefully you got a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of that water energy of just other ways to do things, getting out of our rigid thinking paths. What I want you to do now is to take what you received and really just take a moment to write for yourself, bearing in mind that truth, the resistance is the path. Bearing that in mind, what you've experienced with the challenge, the resistance that you've shared, and what you received from your partners, how you are going to approach this challenge differently. What are you going to do differently? This is the flexible aspect of water. So everyone just take a minute just to write down for themselves, to get clear, like a mini plan or an affirmation or a statement of intent, how you intend to use that universal truth, the resistance is the path, the wisdom that you received from your partners, how in the next phase, could be the reflection and integration phase that we're going into, or it could be the whole next quarter. How are you going to address this challenge differently? Okay, so just everyone take, we'll see, we'll start with a minute, and if you need more, you can, we'll see at that point. Okay. Anyone need more time? All good. Okay, who would like to share? Who wants to share?
Well, I have one sentence.
What?
I just wrote, water the shit out of it.
Okay. Can you shed some light on that for those of us who weren't in your group?
Well, Kaizen it, and show self-compassion and curiosity. Just go into the water virtues. I need that. It was already a quite powerful call last quarter, the water one. And it's stick to me. It's stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So how are you going to remain conscious of this quality of water if you're going to water the shit out of it?
Maybe put some post-its everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I know a lot of things, but I do not do what I know.
This is the thing, the resistance is strong, huh?
Yeah. I know everything I'm supposed to do, but I'm kind of let it be now. I'm trying this. This is new. I've never let me be before. And we'll see what it's doing. Maybe it's not going to work either. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I had a realization in my sharing that I'm letting it be because everything's so difficult and I've got a lot of stress and da, 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 da. So, being super consistent with my food is maybe too much at the moment. But then also recognizing that if I can get a little bit more consistent with my food, it's going to help my energy levels, which is going to help me deal with all of the shit I've got to deal with. So it's like trying to find that balance between compassion and just going, fuck it. It's not the most important thing and I can let it slide for a while, but recognizing that the letting it slide can also maybe be part of making things heavy again.
Yeah, I am very vigilant about that.
Yeah,
I've done this before, but now I really feel that it's a different way, because I don't feel guilt anymore. So I really feel that I'm doing something that is me.
Good.
For change. Then I'm very vigilant about that, because I know how it's easy to slide this slide this rope. How do you say to
go down the slippery slope.
Yep. That.
Yes, that one. Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, if you recognize that there's anything we can support you with, reach out, partners, forum, me. Yeah. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay. Who else would like to share? The resistance is the way. And seeing maybe new possibilities. Well, I mean, I'll share mine. So yeah, for me, food at the moment, I've got really blah with, and I've put on weight, and I think I'm also maybe premenopause, so which also isn't helping, but I know what I need to do. I have some of the food. I got some really nice inspiration from Francis and Sophia. So rather than thinking I have to, do every day. Thank you. Oh, you've got everyday Ayurveda. Beautiful. So yeah, so rather than thinking, you know, I have to have every day perfect, you know, maybe to start with 2 or 3 days with a better breakfast and 2 or 3 days a better lunch, and yeah, and just kind of Kaizen my way back to, it doesn't have to be every day, doesn't have to be super consistent, but just have a little bit more good stuff in there. And yeah, and recognize that the resistance is really, if I head into that resistance, I'm going to make everything else easier for me. Yeah. Anybody else? We haven't heard from Paula or Charlotte. Well, I haven't, because I wasn't in your group, but you two have anything you want to share?
Can you hear me? Yeah, the resistance for me is early to bed. It's I was talking to the girls. I feel like I've made a lot of progress in some areas, but that one I do think it's like the key for me, but I really can't wrap my head around it. And I think I have to like take smaller steps, but it's like it's the same that you were saying with food. Like you don't it's not all or nothing, because I often think like, okay, it's 10:01 and I'm not in bed, so then, you know, might as well just stay up and clean and do a million things. Yeah. So yeah, just taking smaller steps, and they gave me really good tips to try to make it better, but also just yeah, you don't have to do everything in the first quarter, and you don't have to do everything in one day.
Yeah.
So recognizing that helps as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, back to the resistance is the path. Frances also has this one as her resistance. And I remember when I lived in London, and I would often feel that resistance of, I don't want to go to bed, and I'm just going to stay up and watch whatever is on the television. And just, I mean, I didn't have a smartphone at that stage, so it was the television, but there was some part of me back then, thankfully, which recognized, if I stay up and watch whatever on television, if I stay up and work, if I stay up and distract myself, I know that the emotions that I'm already struggling to deal with, the loneliness, the fear, the overwhelm, the stress, are only going to be worse tomorrow because I won't have slept properly. So this is the thing, the resistance is the path. It's like going to sleep is what I need to make all of those difficult emotions actually more manageable. Yeah. So when we can hold that in our mind of, actually, if I do the thing that I'm resisting, it's actually going to make everything else easier. And it's some warped fucking program that we've all got installed that makes us go the other opposite direction. And it's so challenging, but try to stay with that awareness of, actually, sleep is what I need. Or for me, better food is what I need. Yeah, the loneliness, the stress, the overwhelm, the physical symptoms, they all get easier when we go into the resistance rather than with it. Yeah. Awesome, Paula. Thank you. It's 11:30. So if one more person would like to share, then we'll take another share. And if not, then we'll close for the quarter. We have Wednesday. It's okay. I'll try not to get too emotional. Yes, no.
Okay. Well, one thing about my, let's say, difficulties going to the bed like early, like Paula. Well, I will try to do the journal at 9, to read a book, and put the bedtime in the phone, as you mentioned. And also, just wanted to mention there is a questionnaire that they sent me from the triathlon group where I am, and the questionnaire asks you, how many hours do you sleep at night? Because it make a huge impact into the exercise. Yeah. So I think I'm going to take that also into my my do list, like, exactly, because they ask about the food, what are you eating? And also they don't, of course they care how much do you do exercise, but also the sleepiness and the eating is super important.
Yeah.
So
this is the thing, if we are not nourished, like through food, through sleep, through emotions, spiritual practice, we can't expect ourselves to deal with the stress. And actually, a lot of the stress is the symptom of being undernourished in some way. So it's really like, on many levels, we create the problem and then we resist the solution, which is just, what is going on? Yeah. So if, performance for your triathlon is a motivator, that's a why. Yeah. That can be one of your bigger whys, because I want my triathlon is important for me. It makes me feel good, keeps me connected, keeps me moving. What are your whys to help you go into the resistance? And the resistance, like the flip side, the shadow side of the resistance, can be your big why. Yeah, I want to eat healthier because I want to process this difficult period for myself more easily. I want to digest it. Yeah, it's about food. And maybe I'm eating comfort food because I'm struggling to digest the whole situation that I'm in. Yeah. All right. So we have our closing call on Wednesday, which I know Paula can't make because of her time zone, but I hope to see the rest of you, possibly not Charlotte. It's an evening call, so it's at 6 p.m. So those of you who can make it, I look forward. Please put the 10th of April in your calendars, 10 a.m. Saturday, the 10th of April. We have a guest joining who I'm really excited about. I'm just doing the webpage today and tomorrow. He's a yoga nidra master, and he's going to do us a workshop which is not only yoga nidra practices, but explaining about neuroplasticity, which is everything that we're doing, like what goes on in the mind, what goes on in the brain when we have an illness, when we have a habit which we're trying to break, when we have tendencies or trauma or fear. Yeah, what's going on and how we can use the subtle awareness of yoga nidra, so this subconscious reprogramming, which kind of we've been talking about today, to address that. And what I would like to offer you guys is that if you bring two friends to the workshop, you come for free. Okay? So if you can bring two people, you come for free. If you bring one, then I'll see what I can do to give you half price or something. Okay? But I think it's going to be amazing. So I'll send you the link when it's up there, but just to let you know, so you've got that in your calendar. It's 3 hours. It was a proper workshop. And I think it's just going to help us so much in all of the work that we're doing here. Like he actually, Capucine, he's a clinical hypnotherapist initially. So he comes from that clinical perspective of hypnotherapy, but through his own, he has autism, insomnia, and cardiomyopathy. So he has sort of both emotional, energetic, and physical symptoms, which he has brought under control through starting with hypnotherapy. See you, Charlotte, my love, and moving into yoga nidra. Okay, so I think it's going to be a really, really powerful session. So I'm excited to have secured him. So I will be letting you know about the integration and reflection series. I think for now we'll stick on the same schedule of 9 a.m. Saturdays, or 9 and then 11. Would you prefer one fixed time? Or 10? Seeing as we're going to have it at 10 on the 10th. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock? Okay. All right.
Variable.
Huh?
For me, it's variable. I mean,
yes,
it's okay.
Okay. All right then. Well, I will do some thinking about that and let you all know. Have a fabulous weekend. You can all unmute.
Thank you,
bye. It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Sophia and Paula. You've just completed your first quarter.
Yay.
Woo! Francis too. Amazing. And me too. Cool. Well, have a great weekend and I will see you all on Wednesday. If any of you want to join the call on tomorrow evening, it's the usual link. It's at 5 p.m. European time and we're looking at Start the Day Right. So if any of you, that is a thing that you want to get a little bit more support on, then you're very welcome to join.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mwah. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.